deserve harmony and solidarity, says a Deputy Prime Minister. Rohingya aid ship docks in Yangon. Hi, I'm Sohaila Sarfuddin with Cuppa News. The diversity in religion, culture and festivals celebrated by the local communities give the people the edge to strengthen solidarity in the country, says Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. Dr. Ahmad Zahid says solidarity and harmony were not mere rhetorics but should instead be translated with sincerity without any prejudice or negative perception among the people. Speaking at the Thaipusam celebration in Batu Caves on Thursday morning, Dr. Ahmad Zahid said the differences in religion should not lead to any form of disturbances.
Negara kita terbentuk dari pelbagai latar belakang yang berbeza. Kepelbagaian ini harus kita berkukuh dan perkuatkan.
He said the celebration should be promoted as a tourism product to attract more tourists, especially those from India and Hindu followers throughout the world.
Saya harap Kementerian Pelancongan akan mengadakan promosi di seluruh dunia terhadap apa yang kita rayakan pada hari ini.
Dr. Ahmad Zahid also said the cabinet had decided that Indian nationals working abroad be given visa exemption to visit Malaysia. This also involved about 500,000 Indian nationals in Qatar who could benefit from this opportunity. This in return hopes that many Indian nationals and Hindu devotees would visit this country and make a trip to Batu Caves, especially during the Thaipusam. The family members of S. Bala Murugan, who died on Wednesday while in the custody of the North Klang Police, has lodged a police report demanding an independent investigation into his death. The family members also want a second post-mortem to be conducted on the 44-year-old's remains and the police officers allegedly implicated in the matter to be suspended. Bala Murugan's brother, Balaraj, was accompanied by the deceased wife, Nathanan Yum-Chum Sok, and the couple's only child, Yanika, along with Klang MP, Charles Santiago. Human rights lawyer N. Surendran said that the demands are due to the injuries found on Bala's remains.
The family members, when they saw the body, they also saw blood coming from the orifices in the face, and also they saw marks, bruises, and what seemed to be cut marks, marks of beating on the body. And in fact, the pathologist also confirmed with me that there were bruises found on the body.
He said lawyer Gerard Lazarus, who represented the deceased during his remand, saw him coughing blood. Lazarus has also lodged a police report. Bala was detained on Monday after he was allegedly in the company of a man who was targeted by police. Meanwhile, the Enforcement Agency Integrity Commission Chairman Datuk Yaakob Mat Sam said the agency will carry out an investigation into the death. After a week of sailing, the Rohingya aid ship Nautical Alia, carrying 2,200 tons aid for thousands of refugees from the persecuted Muslim minority, has finally docked in Yangon's port at about 3 p.m. local time. The ship was met by around 100 people, most of whom were journalists and local officials. Myanmar Minister for Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement, Dr. Win Myat Ai, Deputy Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Rizal American Naina American, and Malaysian Ambassador to Myanmar, Muhammad Hanif Abdul Rahman, were at the port to welcome the ship. Rizal said he welcomed the magnanimity of the Myanmar government for allowing the ship to dock at Yangon. A small selected group of about 29 people were allowed to get off from the ship and meet with local officials and speak to the press there. Part of the aid will be unloaded in Yangon and transported overland to the north of Rakhine State, while the rest will be taken to Teknaf port in southern Bangladesh, where almost 70,000 Rohingya have fled since October. According to AFP report earlier, dozens of anti-Rohingya protesters, including Buddhist monks, gathered at the port to meet the aid ship. Demonstrators waved national flags and signs reading "No Rohingya," congregated at the Tilawa port while waiting for the ship to dock. Tanjung Datu folk can show their appreciation for Sarawak's late Chief Minister Tan Sri Adnan Satem by supporting his widow Puan Sri Jamilah Anu in the February 18 by-election. Show your appreciation for the late Tan Sri Adnan Satem by voting in Puan Sri Jamilah Anu, says UMNO Vice President Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein. During his visit to Lundu, Sarawak on Thursday, Hishamuddin said he wanted voters in the Tanjung Datu State constituency to put Jamilah in the State Legislative Assembly.
Saya rasa ini satu peluang terbaik untuk masyarakat di sini menyampaikan mesej sejelas-jelasnya. Kalau sayang kepada arwah Allahyarham CM kita dahulu, berilah mandat yang besar juga pada calon kita kali ini yang akan meneruskan kesinambungan perjuangan Allahyarham. Saya harap bahawa rakyat di sini akan keluar ramai-ramai dalam pilihan raya ini untuk memastikan bahawa majoriti yang kita kecapi iaitu bukan sahaja dapat dipertahankan tetapi lebih daripada apa yang telah tercatat dalam sejarah.
The Tanjung Datu by-election will be held on February 18th following Tanjung Datu Assemblyman and Sarawak Chief Minister Adnan's death in January. Meanwhile, Jamilah, who is facing two other candidates, launched her manifesto saying that she will continue Adnan's legacy of implementing programs such as development of ecotourism and education in as many areas as possible in the constituency and Lundu. In order to reduce crime, Bukit Aman Mounted Police Unit have stationed 8 horses in Johor Bahru and Iskandar Puteri Districts Police Headquarters as a pilot project. The units will patrol for 4 hours a day at crime hotspots for theft and break-ins in the 2 districts. The unit's Operation Chief Deputy Superintendent Muhammad Fadli Daud said this project, which started in 2016, had been placed in various locations nationwide and has recorded a 40% drop in crime rate. Domestic Trade, Cooperatives and Consumerism Minister Datuk Sri Hamzah Zainuddin has ordered enforcement officers to stop seizing paint brushes made of pig bristles. Hamzah said enforcement officials should instead educate traders to put labels on their products if they are made from animal parts, as many are unaware of what the products are made of. He also said traders had been given a month to label the brushes correctly, including specifying if they are made of pig or dog products. Ice sheets, a rare but natural phenomenon, has developed at the top of Mount Kinabalu. Due to the colder weather up at the mountain, the surface of the renowned wishing pool has become frozen. Sabah Park's manager Yasin Miki said temperatures have occasionally gone as low as 0 degrees Celsius, but those working on the mountain, including the Sabah Park rangers, guides and porters, were used to the colder temperatures. A massive fire swept through a crowded shanty town near the docks in Manila, Philippines, destroying houses and leaving 15,000 people homeless. 7 people were injured in the fire, which destroyed around 1,000 makeshift houses. The victims were temporarily sheltered in evacuation centres, while their belongings were left on a major road, blocking trucks hauling containers at the port. An Australian national who is a suspect in a jet ski collision that killed his girlfriend in Phuket, Thailand, has reported himself to the police. Thomas Keating has been charged with causing death through carelessness. In last Sunday's incident, Emily Jane Colley died after her jet ski collided with one being ridden by Keating as they approached the beach. On Wednesday, Colley's parents identified her body at the hospital in Phuket, and her remains will be sent to Australia later this week. China's state broadcaster CCTV released surveillance video footage of a drunk man setting a fire at a fireworks shop in northeast China's Shanxi province. The video showed the 45-year-old man surnamed Li buying a pack of fireworks from a local seller in Hanzhong City and then proceeding to fire them at the store. Shop staff fled the scene as the store's fireworks exploded. No injuries were reported. Police have already confiscated 259 pieces of fireworks and firecrackers from Li, which he had stored illegally, and Li was arrested on suspicion of arson. Before we say goodnight, we leave you with visuals of Thaipusam celebrations.